It wasn't too much of a challenge, but on the flip side, I wish that it was a challenge because I would have loved to challenge myself more as a person to be able to learn the language and to communicate with the locals more on their level instead of relying on them to know English. No, I did not learn Italian before I went to Italy. I do regret that in a sense. I wish that I had taken advantage of my time there, and I wish that I would have taken an Italian class.
And I stayed with a host family, so I was able to practice my French a lot, and I made friends with locals, so I was able to use my French.
While I was abroad, I took 4 classes, and 3 out of those 4 classes actually counted towards my major. If someone is concerned about whether their classes will or will not count towards their education, I would say you should meet with an advisor and kind of go over what classes you may need, what classes the program has to offer, and see if those match up. And if they don't match up, then maybe the program isn't the right one.
I specifically chose a program that I knew was going to transfer over. I went to Schema. It was like an international business school, so they had business courses and communication courses, which is pretty much right in my field. So right away I went and looked on the website for all like the course catalog, and then went to my advisors, and all of them were like, yep, these would transfer over.
I took Spanish, and then I took an elective, which my program required me to take. So for Spanish, it was really amazing because the teachers, they pretty much only teach Spanish, and so I learned so much more than I ever could have here.
Okay, well, I took 5 classes while I was studying abroad at Vesalius College, and the transfer of credits was pretty easy. I did take classes from my major and minor, as well as just a random elective, which was my language class. But I took communication classes, and there were some that were the exact same at WSU, so that was really nice too. And then I really talked to my advisors, both my global studies minor advisor, as well as my own communications advisor, and so we really talked that out.
The thing that I love the most about traveling to different countries is probably trying every different type of food, because Spain has their different food and Italy has wonderful food, I must say. I think that that's probably one of my favorite parts about going to different countries was kind of treating myself out and getting different food, also learning the culture and hearing all these different languages while walking up and down the street.
Studying abroad was probably the best decision I've made so far in my life. It was definitely something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And a reason why I loved it so much was just getting to experience so many different cultures. At the school in Brugg, Switzerland that I was at, there's students from all over the world and all over Europe, and just getting to interact with those students and learning about their cultures and how they do certain things was very fascinating.
No matter how hard it takes for you to get there, or how much it costs, or what your worries are and what's holding you back, the experience of it is the best experience you'll probably ever have in your entire life. You're going to continue talking about it forever, and it completely changes your world view of everything, but in the best way possible. So if you have the chance to go abroad, you should do it. My favorite part of studying abroad was probably all the friends that I made.
The thing that stood out the most to me was just how nice everybody was and how willing anybody was to talk to you and help you. So that was really awesome to just be able to say, hey, I want to go to the Amazon one weekend and actually be able to do that, or hey, I want to go to Machu Picchu one weekend and actually be able to do that too. It was just a really amazing experience, and I just loved the people. I learned so much Spanish, and the food was out of this world amazing.
And so that's definitely the most important thing I thought was planning, looking forward, really researching the institution that you're going to and really getting to know what classes you're going to be taking before you go and have all of the paperwork filled out. Having these international experiences and knowing people in different countries and just learning about the cultures and really just learning about so many different things when you actually go to this country versus just seeing, learning about a country in a class or a presentation is really just always worth any money that you're going to put towards it. My favorite thing about studying abroad is really kind of seeing a totally different side of the country and the people and just getting to know them on an individual level.
So in regards to the finance aspect of the trip, the total cost for my program was basically the same amount as a tuition as a semester at WSU.
Financially, it helped a lot. I did end up having to take out a private loan for it, but there was some savings involved in that too.
The currency in Peru is about a third of the rate it is in the States, so everything was really, really cheap.
So for funding for my program, I applied for a lot of scholarships, and I got 3, 2 from WCU, and then 1 for my actual program, CIE. So that was really helpful. And so what I was able to save from those scholarships, I kept to the side.
For the direct enrollment program, especially in Mexico, it was way cheaper than staying at WSU. My tuition was around $200 for the entire summer, and my textbooks cost about $14. And so that obviously is much less expensive than universities in the United States.